Ryan Day and staff are certainly making the best of it. Whatever magic they have over the phone, over texting, over FaceTime, whatever use they're putting to it, Kevin. Or I'll start with Steve, since I told Steve before we started to record that we would start with him. Don't want to change up the lineup. So, Steve, in regards to your thoughts about Ohio State recruiting, the list is becoming mighty impressive. I saw one today that actually was comparing Ohio State, and again, we are way out from what is going to be signed, sealed, and delivered in December and February, but comparing Ohio State to entire conferences, including the SEC. It's impressive.
Yeah, it's crazy right now what Ohio State has already done in terms of early recruiting for 2021. None of these players can sign with Ohio State until December, roughly 9 months from now. And yet the Buckeyes have already got 9 of the top 100 in the 24/7 sports composite locked up and probably in a good position to land maybe 3 or 4 more, depending on how it all goes. So they are in very good position. They just received, I believe it was 3 more verbal commitments this past week. Maybe, I don't know, I lose track. Four in almost a 3-day period, I think. It was Jacqueline Johnson, a cornerback out of St. Louis. He's the number 59 prospect in the country. Then this was a big one right here. Running back Evan Pryor of North Carolina, ranked number 85 nationally. And Ohio State certainly in a position of need at running back. We talk about it with the injuries and everything else. And obviously Pryor won't arrive at Ohio State till 2021. But they definitely need to replenish the depth at that position. And Pryor, a national top 100 guy, ranked as the number 6 running back in the 24/7 composite. And they may not be done at that position just yet. They may have 1 or 2 other guys who are very much looking at Ohio State as well. Andre Turrentine, a safety from Nashville, Tennessee, ranked number 136 in the country. He picked the Buckeyes on Tuesday. And then on Monday, it was Devontae Smith, a cornerback from Cincinnati LaSalle on the 247 composite, ranked number 429. But again, this is a guy that certainly Kerry Combs, the defensive backs coach at Ohio State, liked what he saw out of Devontae Smith, and they made the offer, and he committed. So 4 commitments in about 2.5 to 3 days. And really kind of, the rest of the country or the rest of the world was kind of spinning its wheels with these new restrictions and new provisions. Ohio State remotely, at least, was able to close the deal on 4 guys, and as we said, 2 of them national top 100 prospects.
Yeah, Kevin, your thoughts about the recruiting effort at this point?
Yeah, I went and looked at where Ohio State's 2021 class, based on their points in the Rivals.com team recruiting rankings, would fit against 2020 classes, and they would be 15th in the nation right now, with one of those 15 teams, or one of those 14 teams ahead of them, being Ohio State's 2020 class. It also was better than all but 2 other, not including Ohio State, recruiting classes from 2020 from the Big Ten. So they're really in great shape. And, one of the things to remember when we're talking about Evan Pryor, the running back commitment out of Cornelius, North Carolina, near Charlotte, is Ohio State certainly is taking 2 running backs in this class. So it creates an interesting conversation there. You got Trevion Henderson out of Virginia, and you've got Donovan Edwards out of the state of Michigan. Ohio State sitting in great shape with both of them. Ohio State's not going to get 3. I mean, if all 3 want in, they're going to say yes. But let's be realistic. That's not going to happen. I think Ohio State is in really, really good shape with Trevion Henderson, another Rivals 100 caliber running back. And, I think a lot of people out there are going to owe Tony Alford some apologies after everybody got really critical when Bijan Robinson and Jalen Knighton both kind of fell apart at the end. Ohio State now is, really on the cusp of having 2 Rivals 100 backs in this class of 2021 and potentially somebody coming in the portal.
I'm going to cut off Tony just real quick because I want to be able to filter through the comments, and you guys hear me, those of you that watch the live streams on a regular basis, try to explain the comments portion of this and what I try to get to the screen. So with 3 esteemed writers here, Todd, I so much appreciate you wishing and hoping the family are safe and everybody else that's on the panel right here. The use of apostrophes. Let's look into that. And again, with three esteemed writers, we want to get that. We want to get that right. So check out the use of apostrophes. That's one of my actually one of my pet peeves is not using the term pet peeves, but there it is in regards to the apostrophes. But recruiting, Tony, it's just they're out of their minds at this point.
Yeah, to tack on to what Kevin was saying about the running backs, I really like Travion Henderson out of Virginia. I like him a bit better than Donovan Edwards, who it'll be interesting to see what happens if Henderson commits to Ohio State and then Edwards, a Bloomfield, Michigan, I believe, kid, does he leave the state, and what kind of damage would that do to Michigan's recruiting and to just the image of Michigan recruiting if Ohio State says no to the top running back in Michigan and then Michigan can't get him either? That wouldn't be a great thing for Jim Harbaugh and the Wolverines. But it's been interesting to see the way they're attacking the secondary with Ohio State's defense being so versatile. They want, outside corners, inside corners, deep safeties, and bullets. And with these 3 commitments last week, I think Ja'Kalen Johnson is one of those guys who's a pure outside corner. Devontae Smith looks like he can be one of those slot corners. He had some other big time offers. He's a 3-star kid, but I assume he's going to rise up the rankings because you got Ohio State and you got Alabama after you. You're pretty good. And then the Turntine kid could be safety, could be corner. As Kerry Combs says, we'll put them all at corner, outside corner when they get here, and we'll see where they go from there. But they're loading up in the secondary, which is good because they're going to be a little bit thin this year and the year after, and so they need to restock. Yeah.